So with the grief process, by the way, this was originally created by Connie Ray and Stephen Andreas. If you would like to actually see the actual process in its original form, you can check out the book Heart of the Mind, which you should get anyway. It's a classic NLP book. It's an excellent one. Heart of the Mind. There's a lot of excellent techniques in there. And yes, it's a wonderful way of, to some degree, utilizing mapping across, and really helping people to hold on to the wonderful memories, as opposed to focusing on all of the pain. Okay, that is an illusion, by the way. Okay, the way that I like to say it is that, bottom line is, love doesn't hurt. That's what we're taught. We're told, oh, love hurts, love, yeah, blah, 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 blah. It's bullshit. It doesn't hurt. Okay? What does hurt is the illusion that love can be lost, that it can be destroyed and somehow. It can't. Okay? It just is. And the feelings of that love are inside of us. Okay? When you fall in love with someone, it's not the other person giving it to you. It is you allowing yourself to feel it. It's from inside of you. Okay? And whether any kind of love. Okay? Now, granted, when we're babies, it's different. Because we haven't learned how to work those chemicals in our brain yet. Okay? So you do need that outside love. Now, don't get me wrong, I do believe that we all still need outside love. Okay? But there's no shortage of that. Okay? That's all around us. Okay? But bottom line is, yeah, you're extraordinarily dependent of it when you're a baby. Okay? But then you learn to be able to get those chemicals working so you can literally feel it from the inside out, as opposed to the outside. Okay? And we forget this. We literally we forget all of this because we get so caught up in these limiting beliefs. In some cultures, when somebody passes on, they celebrate. Now, it doesn't mean they celebrate, oh, they're gone, but they celebrate their existence. They celebrate how wonderful they were, and they have a completely different reference. They have a complete 180, whereas we're just grieving so much, and it's so terrible. Understandably, of course. Okay. In some cultures, it's completely different. It's completely different. They also have different belief systems of But bottom line is, my sincere belief is that love never dies. Okay. It doesn't hurt and it never dies. It always exists. And again, what happens with the grieving, when we grieve, is that we focus on the illusion that it's gone. We focus on the fear that we'll never have it again. We focus on our own insecurities. Okay, we have all of those feelings, and those do feel bad. But the love doesn't feel bad. Just that's what we're focusing on, as opposed to the love. And sometimes we get so much of it that we just bury it, and sometimes we don't even want to deal with that, so we bury it, and then we lock it in a vault and run as fast as we can away from it. Okay? But it's still there. Okay? So this process is wonderful. I've used it to help people with breakups. Used it to help people with grief of a loss of a loved one. I've used it to help people with loss of material items and pets. Okay? And it's actually incredibly simple. It's incredibly simple. What it is you ask them, first off, can they think of someone, preferably someone, okay, because it's stronger, so someone or something that they have lost, that has passed on one way or another, okay? But that when they think about now, they actually feel okay about. That they don't hurt, that they actually feel okay about. Okay? And you ask them, now do you notice that more on your right side or on your left side? Kind of like mapping across, just seeing where they notice it in their location of space. Does this make sense so far? Okay. So let's say it's on their left side. Okay? Perfect. Great. Then what you do is you ask them to imagine a basket. Okay? You can even ask them, so what does it look like? What does this basket look like? What would you like it to look like? Would you like to have a color? Whatever. Associate a little more to it. Then you ask them to think of, you have them think of the person that they lost, okay, that they're grieving over, and ask them are they seeing it more on the right or the left? If they're seeing it on the right as opposed to the left for this one, does this make sense so far? Okay, then you ask them to move it over. Now with Rachel, because we had already done so much work before getting to this point, it was already also on the left. Her father was already on the left. Okay? So, cool, we'll keep him there. But if he wasn't, then I'd say, okay, just go ahead and just imagine, you can even take your arm and just carry him on over to that same location. Okay? So what are we doing? We're mapping across, we're cross-coding it so that she starts to feel the same, the same feelings, of like, it is okay. But it's going to get better. It's not just going to be okay. It's going to be wonderful. I don't mean wonderful that he's gone, of course not, but the wonderful memories of this individual. Okay? And we do that by simply asking. Now I want you to think, is everybody with me so far? I'm talking kind of fast.
That's okay.
Okay. You have them imagine a memory, a wonderful memory. See it in front of you. Okay? Bright color.
With that individual?
Yes, with that individual. Absolutely. And it might be one with him wearing a clown outfit saying, hey, I don't know how to sew, but I know how to glue. and as you picture that now, okay, then all you do is you ask them to just go ahead and shrink it down. And I want you to just imagine it as a pearl, as a marble, as a nugget, whatever you'd like. I want you to drop that memory inside of this basket while allowing yourself to hold on to this wonderful memory inside as well. Now emphasize that because I've done this, and that's actually not the way it's written, but I've added that because I've done this, and then people are like, but I'm putting all the memories in here, then I'm going to get rid of them? No, we want to make sure they understand we're not getting rid of them. It's just, you're putting it in there, and you're keeping it inside of you as well. Make sense? Cool. And then I'll just have them keep doing that for a number of them. Okay.
So the basket location, you put it where the good memory is?
You got it. Or in this case on the left side, because that's where they associate at the very least neutrality, meaning they don't feel bad about the person that's passed.
Okay.
So same spot, same location. Okay. Or same side. Then, and then as much as you have time for it, and enjoy it with them. Okay. See it with them. It's one of the reasons why I like sitting like this. I like to visualize it with them. It's like indulge it, have fun with it. She's got some funny stuff there. Her grandmother hugging Bob's big boy. Indulge in it. Laugh with them when they start laughing. Okay. Feel those wonderful memories with them when they have them. And then just as many as you have time for. Okay. And the more the better. Okay. The more the better. Even if it goes in a little bit of overtime, it's like, realize, when it's working, just, so what if it goes over a little bit, you're helping somebody to overcome something that they've been holding on to for a long time, indulge in it. You're going to get to feel as good as they do when this is done, okay? So, yeah, just, keep dropping them in there, okay? And then, at a certain point, then you just have them imagine them just multiplying. Okay? Something I sometimes do, I didn't do it with Rachel, and I kind of just quit while I was ahead with it, because I keep thinking maybe somebody will take this in a weird way, but it's never failed, it's always been good, but I'll share with you guys what I was talking about. I'll ask them hey, do you remember, if they're old enough to remember, the film Gremlins, and I'll say, remember those cute little mogwais? And remember you just pour water on them, they just multiply all over the place, just all these cute little mogwais, whatever. Then I say the same thing's going to happen when you pour water on these, they're just going to multiply all over the place. Okay. The reason, as you may be able to guess, the reason why I kind of quit while I was ahead, because part of me keeps thinking, maybe somebody's going to start thinking the gremlin thing, I don't want to go there or whatever, so I kind of quit while I was ahead.
Yeah, the gremlin is mean.
Exactly. So I quit while I was ahead on that one, but nonetheless, if you think of new ideas that are creative that you think might add to it, I evolve this stuff all the time. I'm always trying to bring more to all of this stuff. So nonetheless, I'm just having her imagine just multiplying and just overflowing, okay? Then I ask her to just point to where she imagines her future, okay? To where she imagines her future, okay? And, so where her timeline is now for her is directly in front of her, okay? So then, now, I want her to keep her eyes closed, and I'm going to be her guide because she's going to be walking on her timeline. Okay? In a moment she's going to be walking on her timeline. Does this make sense so far?
You put your hand on their shoulder?
Yes. Now, in her case, I didn't have my hand on her shoulder because there's still something going on with that clavicle. We don't know what yet. But there's still something going on there. So what I did do was Yeah, it was like right on her, yeah, and I just kind of went like this so I could get a good grip. It helps that she was, were you wearing that same thing last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
helped.
not just the jacket.
No, I just did the jacket. Yeah, that jacket was awesome because I could see my fingerprints. So it was perfect. I could see exactly where to anchor again. So it was like really helpful. So nonetheless, then I just do that, and then because I still want that positive anchor, that powerful resource anchor. Does this make sense? But I also want something that I can guide her. Okay? So I just kind of like, had it like, my thumb like this or whatever, so I could get a good guide. So I have her
This was
stand
so
there.
cool.
It's very powerful.
This was so cool.
Really, really cool. We'll do a demonstration of it so you guys have more visual of it as well.
Sorry.
And so, and I utilize, so I had her like, stand like this direction, because there's not much here. And then just keep reorienting her timeline. Okay? And then I asked her to just go ahead, when she was ready, to just go ahead and just throw all of these wonderful memories into her future. And I'm using language, and I'm saying things like so that every step you take, you are pulled towards these wonderful memories, and how this is allowing you to feel even more purposely pulled in life. Whatever, I'm using, I'm being honest, and I'm utilizing language to emphasize what I do believe to be very true at the same time. Okay, and so then I'm just guiding her, and I'm just having her walk. Now, by the way, I'm being very, very careful not to step in front of her timeline. Okay? Now, is it crucial? Is it like, oh my gosh, I stepped in front of their timeline and screwed things up? No, but I like to stay off their timeline. Okay? Because I don't want to get mixed up in their future or whatever. Like, I want to just be their guide and have their future the way that they have it. Just sort of a, whatever. It's just the way I think.
It's kind of like a golfer thing.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
Step, no step on the line.
Exactly. So now here's the thing. Now I'm guiding her because her eyes are closed, and I say, okay, now I need you to go ahead and stop because I didn't, there's cords here, okay? And then I have her turn around and just move her timeline again so I can keep her walking, okay? And then we just do this for how much time we have as well, and just just really, really indulge in it, and just keep recognize they're in trance. Keep giving those positive suggestions. Feel how wonderful that feels. Remembering all of these wonderful memories. Your unconscious mind your conscious mind doesn't even have to understand it. You may just find yourself smiling for no particular reason. You may just find yourself smiling and just thinking, I'm just so happy I can't stop smiling. For no particular reason. There you go. I was waiting for it. Yeah, and then I just kept her walking, kept turning her around. Okay, and then I had her step back into the present moment. Had her sit down again. Okay, I'm guiding her, and then just letting her sit there. And yeah, I use the song as a powerful anchor. And yes, you can absolutely use a song like that in your office. There's absolutely nothing stopping you. You're gonna give them a powerful anchor that you can let them know what song. Be appropriate about it. Like with the Be the Change song, I will go ahead and send all of you guys a copy because Tiamo, the creator of the song, is a friend of mine, and he gives me permission to play that song. Yeah, a great one for royalty-free music. You can write this down if you want. There's a number of them, but there's one in the UK that I really like a lot called Silencio. I believe it's Silencio. I'll say that's right. Silencio music. They have some great royalty-free music that's great for hypnosis and things like that. Also, Dan Kern. Yeah, write that name down. He actually, a colleague of mine recently discovered him. Great hypnosis music. This guy's really good. He's blind, and he makes some great stuff. Really, really good stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be contacting him soon to ask about working out a deal where I can just sell it to my students, and I won't make a tremendous amount of money off of it, but still, just cash flow. And it's good stuff, really good stuff. But in the meantime, just Dan Kern, you can check it out. Really, really good stuff. He's got a lot of great binaural beats and things like that, which help to get your brain waves into specific states like alpha and theta. So really good stuff. And he knows what he's doing. So, yeah, and that's the process. That's the process. Now, of course, I couldn't have just jumped to this because there was too much other stuff that was going on, because we had to we had to give her the opportunity to really grieve, you know, to have some sad tears, because she had avoided that for so long. Okay, it's not my first choice by any means. You know, remember, I'm about as much pleasure and as little pain as possible. But sometimes, you know, we need to allow people to go through that. Okay, it doesn't mean that, you know, there's a lot of people, not just therapists, but a lot of people that would say, oh yeah, that's, you know, that would take years, blah 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 blah. No, it does not take years. Far from it. Okay, it's just a matter of knowing what you're doing, and understanding that, you know, let them feel it, give them that space, and then make sure they fill themselves back up. You know? So said differently, it's not just about purging negative emotions. That's something I see all too often as well, in traditional hypnosis as well, which is very frustrating to me, because I just see a lot of just purging, having them just sit there and go through this intense catharsis and purge and purge and purge and purge and purge, without teaching them how to really fill themselves up. Okay, make sense? Yeah.
As in, you know, this, well, I just asked a question. You ever thought about working with funeral homes?
Never thought about it. Sounds depressing.
Well, all
but I'm listening.
All I'm saying is, I mean, for something like this, I
It's a
mean,
good point.
it's needed.
It really, really is a good point. And yeah, I mean, now that my knee-jerk reaction...
That's a great idea.
Yeah, now that my knee-jerk reaction of making a joke out of it is done, I think it's a really good
Well, I mean,
idea.
I'm just trying to think, you know, where all the low-hanging fruit is.
I agree. I
And
think it's a...
they're right there, they're dying to get in.
Yeah. You know, it's, and it's, the thing is that, oh God. Oh God. That was bad.
Well, but it's true.
No,
And
you're
have a lot of
right.
people, and
You're
here's
right.
the thing. There are things that until, you know, you started working with Rachel, it brought, you know, back thoughts and feelings that I had. And I've realized that really, I was doing the same thing. I totally was doing the same thing because there were a lot of things that were just blocking me from remembering the positive, you know, times that I had with my dad, just because of I was remembering the times that I should have been there and I wasn't, or the times that I you know, felt like that I should have been a part of, you know, helping out when I wasn't. And so I was
I
like,
think
well,
we know who's going to volunteer for this.
I don't deserve the good feelings, because I don't want to think about the negative stuff, so I'm just not going to remember anything.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I would love
I think you would benefit from this profoundly.
I
Me
would love
too.
to watch it
Cool.
because I never got to see it except from
Absolutely.
on the inside.
Absolutely, definitely. And we'll even.
5:20.
Okay. We'll even do it. You know, as you guys know, I like to do thorough work. If with your permission, I'd like to do a full time quest transformation followed up by this, because I do. It sounds like there's also some. It sounds like you would definitely benefit from having the opportunity to really say some things to your father.
sure.
And yeah. Okay. So we are we're obviously working with the remaining grief of your father. Do you care to explain a little bit again?
Start when?
Just well, you can start when. Quite honestly, you can start when you started thinking. Like I said, when Rachel was sharing some of her stuff, like.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll give you the 50,000 foot view thing of it. I was at the beach with my friends, and I get a phone call that Friday that said basically your aunt passed away. So I called home and they said, well, no, you know, no need for you to come back now. Just stay at the beach, enjoy the time with your friends, and just get back Sunday night for the visitation. I said, okay, fine. So I'm at the beach having fun, you know, young. I'm 24. So, you know, young, having fun at the beach with my friends.
And you're like 62 now. Sorry, bad joke. Sorry, go.
And I had the opportunity to cool.
Excellent.
Excellent.
With that said,
Yeah, with that being said,
Said differently.
I need some water.
Actually, do you?
Jeez, I got something in my mouth.
Go for it.
All right.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah, that was good stuff. Good times.
All right.
Okay, here we go. I'm at the beach having a great time with my friends, and they said, just get back for the visitation Sunday night. I said, okay, fine. I'm driving back, and I get back late. They'd already gone to my aunt's visitation at the funeral home. And the funeral is on Monday. Then I called, no, I didn't call, because I'd already left. That was kind of before cell phones, believe it or not. So I left, and I called and left him a message stating that I was sitting in the driveway, and I was trying to decide right then and there if I was going to stay there for the night or just go by the funeral home, or just kind of what to do. Didn't know what to do because everybody had already gone, and my sisters were there. They were staying there, and if I stayed there, all the bedrooms were full, and I'd be sleeping on the sofa or whatever. And I have my place in Greenville, which is only about maybe another 30, 35 minutes away.
Mhm.
So I made the decision to leave that night and just come back the next day, go stay at my place, and then come back the next day for the funeral. Called, left them a message, and didn't have an opportunity to talk to them whatever that night. So I get a call about 2:30 in the morning. It's my sister saying that my dad is dead, my dad is dead. Except she said it a lot louder than that. I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. Well, I didn't know what to do, so I just hung up the phone, drove back to Kinston, and sure enough, he got up to get a drink of water, and when he got back to the bedroom, he had a stroke and just fell back on the bed, and that was it. And I regretted, a lot of things. One of them was not getting back to the beach, getting back from the beach in time to go to my aunt's visitation and see him that night. But at the same time, I found great peace in the fact that the majority of the family was there except for me. And he had the opportunity to see a lot of the people that he grew up with and were friends with and everything at his, because it was his sister, my aunt, her visitation. And I did find some comfort in that, but I really wish that I made a different decision that night as far as staying there or getting back from the beach in time to at least see him before that happened, but I didn't. And it's been a long time, and I for the most part, I just let it go. I had to let it go because it was driving me crazy.
Okay. Well, would you like to be able to completely, or rather, change the way that you feel about that incident so that you, honestly, you can do whatever we need to do when we get there?
Yeah.
Cool. And now here's the thing. Now I've worked with you enough that I know that you process things pretty quickly. So I'm going to start going pretty fast on this, but I want you to tell me if at any time you actually want me to slow down.
Sure.
Okay. Then feel free to tell me, you know what, you can speed up, to call it fast, I'm cool with that. Okay. Cool. So before we go back there, what I want you to do is I want you to just go ahead and just think of someone that you know loves you.
Okay.
And actually, I don't want it to be your father for now. Of course, you know how much he loves you.
Right.
You know that. But someone other than that. Who's the first person that comes to your mind?
My mom, my sisters.
Perfect. And I want you to just go ahead and either, again, I know you process pretty fast, either with your eyes open or closed. Doesn't matter to me. I want you to be able to just go ahead and just see your mom in front of you now.
Okay.
And I want you to look deep into her eyes. And you can tell me what color they are.
Brown.
Perfect. What I want you to do is just allow yourself to, you know how to do this, you've done this many times, just allow yourself to step outside of yourself, step inside of her, and allow yourself to see yourself through her eyes.
Okay.
And I am going to ask you to kind of slow down this part a little bit, because I want you to really, really feel all of the love that she has for you. Just allow yourself to indulge in that.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And I want you to allow yourself to remember a wonderful, wonderful memory that the two of you shared together. Wonderful. I know there's many of them.
Yeah.
Excellent. I want you to see this through her eyes and feel all of that love. Allow it to overflow. Excellent. And I want you to allow yourself to remember another wonderful memory, another purely wonderful, wonderful memory that the two of you share together. Excellent. And then I want you to allow yourself to remember yet another wonderful memory. And another, and they can just start flooding in now. Excellent. Excellent. And then what I want you to do is I want you to allow yourself to just go ahead and take all of these wonderful feelings, all these incredible feelings, and just allow yourself to float up above, outside of her, back into yourself, bringing all of these wonderful feelings with you as you once again see her in front of you. And to yourself or out loud, doesn't matter to me. I want you to say to her how much you love her.
Okay.
Excellent. And then I want you to say to her, thank you in whatever way you want to. And you know how this works. If and only if you feel a desire or a need, I forgive you. Excellent. And then I want you to take this opportunity to say anything else at all that you'd like to say. Just let me know when you're ready to move on from that.
Okay.
Excellent, excellent. And I'm going to suggest something if you haven't already. I encourage you to let her know how much you love her, no matter how far distance-wise you are. You're always with her.
Okay.
Excellent. And now you know how this works. I want you to just imagine that mirror in front of you now, just floating up. Excuse me. And I want you to see yourself in that mirror. And I want you to say to yourself, I love you. Thank you. And if and only if you feel the desire or need, I forgive you.
Okay.
Excellent. Excellent. And then I want you to give yourself this opportunity to say anything else at all that you'd like to say.
Okay.
Excellent. Now, I want you to be inside of that protected bubble, totally safe, totally secure, protected in every way, filled, overflowing with all of these wonderful feelings. And just allow yourself to float up above, inside of that protected bubble. And I want you to allow yourself to float all the way back to that night at the beach. All the way back to that night at the beach. And from above, I want you to find yourself down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to ask yourself, I want you to tell me, do you feel comfortable stepping inside of yourself at this time?
Sure.
Excellent. Just go ahead and do that now. You know how this works. Just so you can allow yourself to overflow with all of these feelings. All of the love, all of these wonderful feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to check in and ask yourself, are there any, any other feelings that you may have needed other than the ones that you're allowing yourself to overflow with now? Excellent. And I want you to go ahead and float up above, outside of yourself. Step in front of yourself. As a matter of fact, just step back inside of yourself, just for a moment. This is one of those times I'm going to kind of slow you down a little bit more and just really make sure you're allowing yourself to overflow completely and fully. Perfect. Now step in front of yourself.
Okay.
Look into your own eyes. You know what to do. Just say to yourself, thank you. I love you. And if and only if you feel the desire or need, I forgive you.
Okay.
And take this opportunity to say anything else at all that you'd like to say.
Okay.
Perfect. Excellent. Now I want you to float up above. And I want you to find your dad. And when you see him below, just let me know.
Okay.
I want you to ask yourself, do you feel comfortable stepping inside of him so that you can see if there was any resources, any feelings that he needed at that time?
Sure.
Perfect. Go ahead and allow yourself to float down inside of him with all of these feelings. And I want you to check in. You don't have to tell me what they are, if any. But are there any feelings, any resources that he could have used that you can allow him to experience now?
Yeah, actually, a lot of them.
Excellent. And this may sound like a silly question, but do you feel that you have enough of those resources that you can allow yourself to overflow and allow him to be filled with them?
Absolutely.
Good. Now, as you do that, I want you to realize what you already know, which is that's exactly what he would do for you. Give yourself this gift of returning the favor.
Yeah.
Excellent. And then when you're ready, excuse me, just go ahead and step outside of him. And I want you to step in front of him, and I want you to take your time with this one. And allow yourself to experience how wonderful this feels. As you say to him, I love you. Thank you. And if and only if and only if, and I don't want you to think logically about this, I want you to just be honest with yourself. If and only if, you may or may not have a desire or a need. But if and only if, I want you to say to him, I forgive you. Let me know when you're ready to move on from that.
Ready?
Perfect. And then I want you to give yourself the opportunity to say anything else that you would like to say to him. Anything at all. Take all the time you want.
Okay.
Excellent. Excellent. And then if you haven't already, and if you'd like to, just imagine giving him a hug. Excellent. And I want you to allow yourself to float up above, and I want you to tell me, is there anyone else that could have used some resources, some feelings at this time that you can allow them to feel?
Yeah, a lot of people.
How many?
Good. 10 or 15. Easy.
Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to really, really go deep inside and allow yourself to completely and fully overflow. Noticing who may need a little more, paying, excuse me, paying special attention to them. And you even have to realize the unconscious changes that are happening now, just allow them to happen. All that you need to do is focus on allowing yourself to overflow. These changes will happen as they are now. And you've done this completely and fully, just let me know. Excellent, excellent. And from above, or rather I'm saying up above, I want you to allow yourself to float forwards in time. And as you do, I want you to pay very close attention. Are there any other times that were related to this in one way or another? That there's any resources or any feelings needed? Let me know if that makes sense.
Plenty of times.
Okay. And I want you to just continue to overflow and make sure to fill those times. Some of them may seem a little darker than others, that's okay. From above, I want you to just allow them to overflow.
Okay.
That's right. And continue moving forwards in time, just allowing yourself to continue to overflow and overflow and overflow.
Okay.
Excellent. And just let me know when you've done that all the way to the present moment.
Okay.
Perfect. And just for the heck of it, we're going to have you go ahead and float up above to that very first time. And just like the adaptation to core transformation, we're just going to do this a few times to really make sure we fill everything. Does that make sense?
Yep.
We're going to do this really fast because I know you can do this fast. We're floating up above all the way back to that first time, allowing yourself to continue to overflow, just overflowing and overflowing all the way to the present. And up above all the way back to that very first time. And up above all the way back to that very first time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to let you do that as many times as you like, and you let me know when you're ready to move on.
Okay.
Perfect. Excuse me. Now what I'd like you to do, with your eyes open or closed, it doesn't matter to me. I want you to just point to where you imagine your future to be. Perfect. And what I want to ask you now is I want you to think of someone or something, preferably someone, that has passed on, but when you think about them now, you actually feel comfortable with it, you feel okay with it, you feel at peace with it. Well, you don't have to tell me who you're thinking of, but can you tell me, do you imagine this person more on your right or left side?
On my left.
Excellent, excellent. Now I want you to imagine, I want you to think of your father. Do you imagine him more on your left or your right?
Well, that's who I was thinking
That's
of.
what you're thinking of. Perfect, perfect. Excellent,
On my left.
excellent. And also on your left, I want you to imagine that basket that we discussed before, that you heard us talking about. Okay? Just see that basket. Be whatever color you want it to be, whatever shape you want it to be, but I just want you to see it really clearly.
Okay.
Perfect. And then what I want you to do is I want you to allow yourself to remember a wonderful, wonderful memory that you and your father share. It could be others around, or it could be just the two of you. But I want you to allow yourself to remember that wonderful memory. I want you to see it in front of you, just as a still picture. It might be a movie. If it is, then just go ahead and have it be still. And what I want you to do is I want you to just imagine shrinking it down. Just imagine it as a marble, as a pearl, or as a nugget of some kind. And I want you to just go ahead and just allow yourself to just literally reach out. Really reach out. And you can either do that physically or you can just imagine doing it. It doesn't matter to me. And I want you to just drop it right into that basket while allowing yourself to realize that all of these memories will remain inside of you as well. Excellent. What I'm going to ask you to do, if it works for you, if you like, I'm going to actually ask you to have the basket on the left side of you. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Unless you prefer it there. Whatever you prefer.
Just for now, I mean, there's no room to put the basket over there.
Okay.
So
That
just
works.
put it right there.
That works for me? Excellent. Then I want you to go ahead and allow yourself to remember another wonderful memory. Another wonderful memory. You can do the exact same thing. These memories are going to start to flow even faster than they already are. Just keep reaching out, drop them right in there. Excellent.
I mean, there's like there's like a ton of them.
Just let them, just imagine them just like funneling right in there.
They are.
Good. Take as much time as you want to allow those to continue funneling in there, and you just let me know when you're ready to move on. There's no hurry. Take your time.
Ready to move on?
Excellent. Excellent. And I imagine this is already overflowing. Just if it is, continue to allow it to overflow.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And what I'm going to ask you to do is In a moment, I'm going to ask you to stand up, and we're just going to go ahead and have you move the basket in whatever way works for you. Because I'm going to ask you to actually, literally, throw all of these wonderful memories into your future, realizing that they're always inside of you as well.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and have you stand up and do that now,
You want me to pick the basket up too?
if you like. And then what I want you to do, you got it. You got it.
I'm going to go ahead and stand here because I know your father's right here.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and just allow yourself to throw all these wonderful memories into your future. So that every step you take, you don't even have to be consciously aware of it, but every step you take, you're bringing your father, the wonderful man that he is, with you. What I'm going to ask you to do is allow your father to take your shoulder as I let go, and you feel his shoulder, and I know you can. And he's going to guide you. And when you're ready, just let him guide you into walking forwards into your future. And continue. You got it. Take all the time you want. Okay. When you're ready, go ahead and have a seat. And allow yourself to bring yourself and everything back into the present. Good job.
That was awesome.
You did great, man.
That was really awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.